Hi guys, we are from Group 5. Before we begin, imagine losing your freedom, your safety, and your dignity in a single moment. This is the harsh reality faced by victims of human trafficking, and it is one of the most serious human rights violations happening today, including here in Malaysia. In our presentation, we will be highlighting key solutions to combat this issue.
Today, I'll be talking about human trafficking in Malaysia and how our country is against it, what our current stance is, what is our current efforts, as well as how it reflects to us back as a country. Now, let's start with the basic definition of what human trafficking is. So, now, according to the UNODC, the definition talks about force, fraud, or deception, and honestly, fraud is only the main goal here. Now, you see, these aren't strangers in mass that go and harbor or exploit people. These are people who look you in the eye, shake your hand, and promise you a factory job in KL with good pay, free housing, so on and so forth. The next thing you know, you end up running a scam gig somewhere in rural Cambodia. They have been trafficked until they are around 6 to 12 months in. By then, their passport is gone, they owe recruitment fees that just magically keep growing, and they're being told that if they return, their family back home will have to pay the price. And before you ask, men get trafficked too. This is not just a women and children problem. They can come from various backgrounds. Take for example, the construction worker who hasn't been paid in 3 months. The plantation worker sleeping in a shed with 20 more. Trafficking victims are not just for sex work and not only just women. Exploitation is an equal opportunity by any employer if he or she deems so. Let's move over onto trends for the past 30 years. Now, the numbers speak for itself. According to MAPO, a total of 1,856 trafficking cases were reported, 2,732 arrests, and 10,463 victims rescued. The trafficking has increased exponentially, but it also means our detection is far greater. Now, Malaysia's geography is both a blessing and a curse economically to us, because it is also strategic for the traffickers. We are the perfect layover location, close enough to source countries such as Cambodia or Thailand to connect people to other destination markets such as the Middle East, but chaotic enough that things between our borders can easily slip through. And here's the evolution you need to understand. Trafficking isn't just about physical movement anymore. We've got a new nightmare on the block: cyber scam trafficking. Now, lots of young Malaysians, Indonesians, and Cambodians were recruited for customer service jobs somewhere in rural Myanmar, maybe. When they get there, they find out they're actually running online gambling scams, romance scams, or cryptocurrency fraud. These individuals are people with good education, language skills, tech literacy. These individuals, such as the students, are being targeted rampantly. So we should all be wearisome about this.
Hi everyone, my name is Yu Qi. Today I'm here to introduce you to the current challenge faced by authorities in combating human trafficking. Without further delay, let's start. The first challenge is an information gap that makes people at risk. Our community usually lack of awareness and education about the realities of human trafficking. Because of this, individuals, especially those seeking better opportunity, become easy prey. They are cheated by promise of high-paying job, unaware of the trap. Furthermore, the method and type of trafficking update rapidly. Without public awareness keeping pace, people cannot recognize the updated method used by traffickers, making prevention incredibly difficult. In short, ignorance is the greatest supporters of traffickers. If people don't know what's happening, they can easily be harmed. The second challenge is how to correctly identifying the real victims after rescue them. This is not a simple process. Rescued individuals must go through an interview process to distinguish the real victims of human trafficking and volunteer migrants. However, these victims are often deeply traumatized and fearful. As a result, during the interrogation, they are hesitant and often refuse to give full cooperation. This wall of silence, built on fear, prevent authorities from gathering the evidence needed to provide victims with protection they desperately need. So even when we reach the victims, their fear can make them invisible to the justice system, allowing the criminals to walk free. The third and perhaps most damaging challenge is the high probability and corrosive impact of bribery and official complicity. The research states that the possibility for bribery to take place is high, as is a primary method for the traffickers used to cross border undetected. In 2010, it was reported that 7 officials from the Immigration Department under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Home Affairs Malaysia were involved in human trafficking activities in the country. This creates a vicious cycle that is bribery facilitate the crime, which generate high profit, which in turn fund more bribery. This cycle protects criminal network from the inside, erodes public trust, and is a primary reason why this crime is so resilient.
At point 4, budget for anti-trafficking units are often limited, which reduce the number of trained officers and specialists. There are also not enough shelters, translators, or support service for victims, which make rescue and rehabilitation difficult. On top of that, authorities may lack advanced technology to monitor traffickers or track online activities. All these challenges make it harder for authorities to detect cases, respond quickly, and protect victims. Another major challenge is the weakness of legal system in some countries. Some laws are outdated or unclear, and not all forms of trafficking are clearly defined. In many cases, the penalty given to traffickers are not strong enough to act as a real deterrent. Even when good law exists, enforcement may still be inconsistent because of limited training, lack of awareness, or corruption. As a result, conviction rate remain low, and traffickers continue operating with little fear of being caught. Finally, traffickers are constantly changing their tactics. They now use social media, online advertisement, and encrypted apps to recruit and control victims. Whenever authorities tighten regulations, traffickers quickly change their routes and strategies to avoid being detected. Technology also helps traffickers hide their activities and move victims more secretly. Because their methods evolve so quickly, law enforcement often struggle to keep up, making it harder to track and dismantle trafficking networks.
Good day. Now it's my turn to explain the key solutions to address human rights and human trafficking in Malaysia. Firstly, at the national level, stronger collaboration between the government and SUHAKAM is essential. SUHAKAM already plays an important role by visiting shelters for trafficking victims and promoting public awareness. Enhancing their independence to conduct investigation, especially those involving workers, will ensure greater transparency and accountability. In addition, SUHAKAM should continue to propose law reforms to Parliament to improve the protection of victims. Nationwide campaigns on human rights and human trafficking are also necessary to educate the public. Furthermore, cooperation with JAKIM and state Islamic councils can reinforce the message that human trafficking is haram, as it goes against human dignity and justice. Secondly, Malaysia must strengthen international cooperation. Since human trafficking is a cross-border crime, Malaysia cannot address it effectively on its own. Closer collaboration with ASEAN and United Nations agencies is crucial. Malaysia should also establish more bilateral agreements with level-sending countries such as Indonesia, Bangladesh, Nepal, and the Philippines to regulate recruitment processes and protect foreign workers. Additionally, adopting or implementing the 1951 Refugee Convention will provide legal protection and protection for refugees.
Today, I will be talking about two key strategies to combat human trafficking in Malaysia, which is strengthening our national laws and using AI-powered victim identification. First, Malaysia needs to strengthen its law and enforcement systems. This begins with fully enforcing the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act, or ATIPSOM. Stricter penalties should be imposed on individuals who commit trafficking crimes, as well as on employers who exploit vulnerable workers to improve effectiveness. There must be better coordination between the Royal Malaysian Police, the Immigration Department, the Labour Department, and NGOs that work directly with victims. Recruitment agencies involved in illegal practices should be blacklisted and shut down completely. On top of that, we need highly trained, specialized officers in the police, immigration, and labour departments who can accurately detect, investigate, and handle human trafficking cases. Second, artificial intelligence can play a powerful role in identifying victims earlier. AI systems can scan online jobs, advertisements, and social media posts to detect suspicious keywords or deceptive recruitment tactics. They can also analyze travel and migration data to flag unusual movement patterns, such as groups repeatedly crossing borders under the same sponsor. Facial recognition technology can match potential victims with missing persons databases or border control footage. AI can even monitor the dark web for illegal activities where traffickers operate. In summary, by improving legal enforcement and adopting advanced AI technologies, Malaysia can significantly strengthen its fight against human trafficking.
That's all from us. Thank you.